The legendary Chuck Noll uttered a legendary line when the time came for a player to retire. The coach said it was time for the player to, quote, get on with his life's work, unquote. So what is life like after football, and what's the path to carve out a new career? Well, Will Allen has been on that journey for the past couple of years, investing in energy businesses and giving back to the community through the Will Allen Foundation. And welcome. Good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Yeah, here we are. Super Bowl Sunday, too. Do you still get the fever a little bit on a day like this?
I do. And, you know, I was on a Super Bowl team in 2010. You know, Steelers, we played the Packers and lost. So it's tough, but you know, you get those feelings, you get those, you know, those butterflies in your stomach because the week is crazy and the environment, and you know, it's wonderful though. It's a great time, but you do get a little nervous and a little nostalgic during this week.
Yeah, what an experience. And I know I've talked to other players and they say, you know, you're in the middle of that career, you've been doing that football thing from the time you were a little child, basically. Mm-hmm. You know, is it hard to think beyond that and start thinking about what am I going to do when this career is over?
It is. I mean, because you know, sports and athletics and football, it takes over your life. It really does. It becomes everything that you do. And you know, I've been involved in some form of sport since I was 4 years old. But you know, I've also heard the horror stories of not being prepared, not having a plan. You know, once you're out of the locker room, once the lights don't come on anymore, right? Once people aren't screaming your name, you know, you think I play for Ohio State, 100,000 people, you know, and then you play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's, you know, 60, 80,000 people, and then Steeler Nation, Buckeye Nation, like, it's hard to really like remove yourself from that bubble, but it's you know, you hear the horror stories and you have to protect yourself against it, and you have to say, I don't want to be a statistic. So
how did you do that? I mean, you started working there obviously while you were
while I was still playing.
Going, right?
I was still playing, I exposed myself. I took a chance. You know, I went on, had an internship for a utility, National Grid, and I worked on Capitol Hill for a congressman, Bobby Rush, who's on the Energy and Power Committee. So I worked on, you know, a lot of federal legislative work, and you know, and regulatory work, and also, you know, the utility work. So it was great. It was a great experience.
So you got into energy investing. Was that because you always had a passion for energy, or did you kind of fall into it by these internship opportunities?
I did. So early in my career, in the middle of my career, through the NFL, we had an opportunity to go to Harvard, Kellogg, Stanford, or Wharton, and I went to Kellogg and Harvard for business management entrepreneurship classes and continue education. So we get a certificate. It's intense, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for 3 weeks, and then you come back home and you go back for another 3 to 4 weeks, and et cetera, et cetera. So it was great. You know, it was great to learn from some of the top professors in the world, but I learn about entrepreneurship, and that's when I really started to really say, well, wow, what's out there for me? You know, what is truly the opportunities that I can take advantage of that I didn't know before, and how do I build a team? How do I engage into the ecosystem? You know, what is it that I want to do? So I started to get you know, just my interest started to peak around energy when I wanted to buy an electric vehicle.
Okay.
And that didn't work out too well in 2008. There was a company that was out that sucked, the technology sucked, and you know, the company ended up folding. But then that, you know, I started learning more about other renewable technologies, sustainable technologies, the oil and gas field. It just, my mind just became absorbed in this space that I didn't have exposure to, access to, you know, from the time I was born till my mid-20s.
So now you got a portfolio of your own energy companies. You've gotten it to that point,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I've gotten to a point where we've, you know, we're scratching the surface and we're making investments, and we're helping the companies grow, and it's a great experience for me because I'm able to use some of those skills that I learned playing sports for so many of years and apply those to, you know, building teams and being diligent and, you know, just being strategic around business, and also using what I learned and through my internships and other experiences.
Good coaching important in business as much as it is in sports, that's for sure. Only about a minute left, but I got to ask you about the foundation. What's the focus there? Because you seem to be just as committed to that.
The focus is to, you know, provide exposure and access and resources to the community. We pride ourselves on that, and we primarily work with high school students, preparing them for life after high school. So, you know, all this good energy knowledge and business knowledge that I'm earning and learning, along the way, we want to pass that back and pass it forward so that students can be prepared for the 21st century. You know, you talk about IoT and smart cities and technologies that are coming upon us, robotics and automation. Well, how am I, you know, being in the business ecosystem, you know, preparing our young people for the same opportunities and the opportunities that I didn't have. So that's what it's about.
And they are legion. So only a few seconds left, but I got to ask you, who do you like tonight in the big game?
Patriots.
You're going to take the Patriots.
Steelers fans are going to hate me, but taking the Patriots.
All right. Well, we'll see how our friends from across the state can do, but they do have the work cut out for Will Allen. Allen, former Steeler and investor and foundation executive and founder. Thank you so much. Congratulations on everything you
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah.
Great.
Next up, in keeping with our football theme, we'll meet the founder of a local startup who's created a second skull to help prevent head injuries. Stay with us.